The Iceman0007, thank you for the follow. You followed while I was offline. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. We'll be starting soon. Just bear with me for a bit. Hello chat, it's Sin. Welcome to the stream. How you guys doing? I'm doing like shit. I got sick. Most of the reason why I'm late today anyway. I woke up late because I was sick and it took me a while to get rid of the pink eye, to get my nose under control. It's cold, chat. It's pretty fucking cold. How you guys doing? How's chat doing? How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are doing okay. I thought we'd start off the stream by just yapping a bit, you know? I like these yap sessions. They're good. They're good for the brain, good for the content, good for everything, really. I wish I could keep like yesterday's yap session, honestly. But I got copyright struck because I watched the video. YouTube is really fast with that. But I'm gonna do it again. But like, I'm not infringing on your copyrights, fellow creators. I'm just trying to create content for myself. I'm sorry if you guys took it the other way, but it's usually YouTube's like automatic thing anyway, right? It's not you guys just claiming it. Still though, I'd like to put this out there. I'm reacting for the sole reason of reacting. I'm not a react content creator. I usually do like video essays and such, but that will be after the 30-day marathon, because I've already teased 2 of them. One of them would be like Final Fantasy 14 and the other would be Destiny 2. Just watch out for those. Watch out for those. You guys will enjoy them. I'll promise you guys will enjoy them. We have some news today, by the way. So, something called the Anbernic DS. If you guys don't know what Anbernic is, they make like Android gaming devices, like emulator devices, which is basically like think of a phone, right? Think of a normal phone, but it has controllers and it's like different form factors that you can buy them in, which is usually nostalgic form factors. If you get what I'm saying. They made an emulator in the shape of the Nintendo DS. You know what that means? Fuck you, secondhand Nintendo DS vendors. Fuck you. Because raising the price of a 3DS to $200, $300 even is just like the most asinine shit I've ever seen. Like, guys, like if you like Nintendo in any capacity, right? Or like if you're 20 to 25 years old, you probably experienced the golden age of handhelds, which is PSP, GBA, maybe not GBA, like but like that Nintendo DS and PSP, you've probably, I'd say even most definitely experienced it, right? The Nintendo DS is one of my favorites, purely because of the form factor that exists nowhere else. Like a screen with controllers isn't a new concept. Like, it's just a screen with controllers, right? Even with this, Nintendo's innovated. Like, these controllers just yoink, come off. I don't want to deal with that because I don't want to take this off. But yeah, Nintendo has innovated, right? And in the past, they did that clamshell Game Boy. The Game Boy SP. I'm 16, what should I do? You should cry about it because you missed it. But yeah, with the form factors, like the innovation on Nintendo's part, right? The Nintendo DS became a highly popular device purely because the games they released for it and its ability to be backwards compatible on a handheld. It played GBA games as well, and GB games. And overall, the games were great. The form factor was great. The battery life was great. The gimmick was also great, by the way. I really love the stylus with the touchpad. Now, the thing is, there's such an expansive library of these devices because the GBA, the DS, and the 3DS. The 3DS can play all of its predecessors' games. Albeit, I mean, there's no slot for GBA or GB anymore on the console, but it can be installed, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You mod stuff. You wouldn't watch me if you didn't mod stuff. Right? You wouldn't watch me if you didn't do that. So, the 3DS does all these things. Now, what happens in the great 2020 and the great 2025 and all those, like, okay, basically any time after like 2018, I'd even say, the 3DS became a modding powerhouse, right? And it took so long for anything to come close to its utility. Like, there wasn't like any Android handhelds that's worth their salt anyway, because they were always like janky. The emulators were premature. The only quite like robust emulator I've even gamed on was Game Boy emulators, which was like already widespread at that age because it's quite old. Like, I was a little kid when the Game Boy Advance was out, right? So the 3DS being able to play all those games and being like a just amazing hardware overall. The 3DS XL and all the different like 3DS versions, they went up in value as time went on because these things aren't being manufactured anymore. And the secondhand market, like some YouTubers picked up on this, right? They made content on it. People became more aware of the value of their consoles, right? So the price point of an very old 3DS went from like $100, like $50, $70 to $200, $300, and it has stayed that way, right? people started scalping 3DSs, people started refurbishing 3DS, which is a good thing, by the way. Like active support, active like maintenance for handhelds like these. Nintendo doesn't do it for you anymore. Because I remember they had a program where you sent in your 3DS for them to fix. I think that's like only exclusive to America at this point. Like they don't do it for any other region. I might be wrong, they might be doing it for Europe, but let's say you're outside of you're in Asia, let's say you're in the Middle East. You won't be able to get access to any of these like venues or anything. Like I don't think they even do it for Nintendo Japan. I might like, I'm not sure. They probably do it in Japan. I mean, it's their own like console. Like Nintendo is Japanese, so. Anyways, like the market for these exploded. And like the value kept going up and up and up and up, and even more. It just did not stop in the slightest, right? It just did not stop in the slightest. But then, come October 12th, 2025, a great thing happens. And I'll show you in a bit. Hold on. Where's the window? Oh, come on. Did I forgot to add it in. No, hold on. I'll add it in. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Okay. Yoink, yoink, and then yoink. That works, right? Cool. Let's make it yoink a little bit like that. Cool. This happened, ladies and gentlemen. A copy of the Nintendo DS has been a long time coming. I'm surprised it actually took this long. Because these guys also have done the Anbernic SP. Which is basically this little thing. Which is basically a Game Boy SP, right? So they're taking these form factors, they're taking these designs, which I'm pretty sure is on pretty shaky legal ground. But that's because these are like Chinese made, I don't think they can really do anything. But honestly, this being under $100 is amazing, because the average price of a secondhand DS or a secondhand 3DS is upwards of like $150 to $200 right now. And there's the actual added worries of, is it used well? Is it still functional? Does it work? Or can it be modded? How do I mod it? Because like not everyone that buys these consoles are going to be like technically inclined, you know? With this, you're good. I'm so happy this exists. I'm actually so surprised this took so long. And my first reaction was that like, take that secondhand DS price gouging market, because honestly, fuck you. People's access to retro hardware has been like just it's so we ain't buying no DS in the big 2026. Dude, I am buying it. Hold on, your chat doesn't show. Let me do this. Yoink. Okay. Like, the pricing is just so stupid. So stupid. But they did this right now. So, I don't know the availability on this, because, like, let's see. Hold on. The availability on the GBA version, which came out, like, way back, has been quite spotty, right? Oh no, they're available right now, but look at all the colors just gone. Like, these sell out fast. These sell out so fast. Like, let's look at their devices, right? Have they put it up? Have they put it up? They haven't. But they are mostly like this company has mostly copied every single like handheld design on the market, at least. I haven't seen a direct copy of the PSP, but honestly, no one really wants to copy the PSP because it's basically a screen with screen with controls anyway. You would want to copy the PS Vita, which is essentially these designs, right? Just make them rectangle. Don't need to like butt heads with Sony at this point. This design, reminiscent of the PSP Go, right? You guys know the PSP Go? Look. The PSP Go was basically this. It looked like a phone at its time. And it was like a very thin console. The ergonomics fucking sucked. I can tell you that much. The ergonomics absolutely sucked. Like the vanilla PSP was way better in my opinion. But this is a cool little device. Cool compact little device actually. You might even prefer this if you're getting a PSP in this day and age. Like this is highly moddable. and doesn't have the UND disk drive, so it's very slim as well. It only, and you think, oh, but Sin, these had their own proprietary memory sticks. How am I gonna get the proprietary memory stick? How would I even find it? Like, by what I mean by that, it's this MS Pro Duo. These they don't exist anymore. If they existed, really expensive. But the eagle-eyed among you have already seen it. This makes it convenient because you just put an SD card. Like, you can even put two. Wow, man, I might even get this. I'm an emulation monster. I love emulating. I emulate and play Sonic Heroes on every console I get my hands on, if I can. I tried emulating on this. This shit sucks for emulating. I'll tell you that much, because it feels powerful, right? It feels robust. It feels good, and it's big. You would expect it to be, like, for example, expect it to be able to run a PSP well enough to be able to play it, right? Because it came out years after the PSP, and it like runs current gen games with no issues, right? No, this shit can't emulate the PSP because emulation is something called an overhead, which is a very fun way of saying it can't do it. But if the Nintendo Switch 2 gets jailbroken, you will hear it from me first, because I will get my hands on it and jailbreak it as soon as I can. I'm waiting very patiently for that. I'm waiting extra patiently for that, right? So yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. What I was saying is that I like emulating, basically, right? And these devices, like, I would buy them, right? But they have so many of them coming out. There's this YouTube channel called Wolfden, right? This guy, as you can see, just does videos on the handhelds of them like inside the market. He buys all of them, by the way. He's sponsored half the time. It's not sponsored the other half. He just buys it with his own money most of the time, right? I very much recommend just going out and watching his videos, because there's so many interesting handhelds that you probably haven't even heard of that this guy has covered. It's pretty cool channel. Pretty very cool channel. Pretty very cool channel. But yeah, like, this is my dream to do, basically, if I can afford to, at least. The DS having a clone out is just honestly great for the industry at the moment. By the industry, I mean like the emulator. What do they call these? SBCs? SBC gaming? Something like, I don't know what SBC stands for, but it's basically just handheld, like, Android emulating devices, right? I think this is very good. One thing I'm worried about is that the aspect ratio looks to be built for DS and DSi. This won't probably have a dent in the 3DS market right now. But when it does, because I don't think Anbernic will stop here, they will release the... Wait, is this 16:9? It looks like 4:3 to me. Depending on which versions they come out with, right? If it's 16:9, the 3DS is also covered, right? But to me, these look like 4:3. So when the 16:9 version comes out, this will also put a dent in the 3DS market, which will be the big impact for that secondhand market, because people will no longer need to buy secondhand 3DSs, right? They'll just be free to do whatever, which will be good. Also, follow me on Twitter, please. Thank you. So, like, look. Wait, what's this? You're gonna fully customize shell mods. Oh, shell mods already arrived. Cool. Oh yeah. Like, hold on.
You're gonna need some very specific.
This device has been in the market for a while, but this is a bona fide PC, by the way. Like, this is not a Nintendo DS replacement or anything. This is a PC through and through. And I think this does, like, challenge the 3DS market a little bit, but it doesn't fully, because the price point of this is, from what I know, is stupid. Like, if you want to play 3DS games, you will not find yourself buying this. You just won't. Because, like, let's look at the price point. That's actually not that bad. It's 250. Okay, I expected way worse because there was a okay. Hold on. There was a device that came out like this. I think it was from the company GPD, right, chat? I don't quite know, but it's from a company called GPD, and they put it out at like $500 or something stupid like that. Like, if I was gonna pay $500, I would just buy a Steam Deck. Why would I not buy a Steam Deck? I mean, sure, it's big, bulky, and not the form factor you're looking for, but it's just that the price point doesn't make sense. Like, you're paying premium for dual screens and not even getting the performance for anything that you want to be able to do anyway, right? So what's the base? That's $300. Wait, why is this so affordable right now? Chat, I might have accidentally sold myself on a device. Clamshell dual OLED screen. Not even IPS. 120 hertz. Chat, this device is pretty good. I don't know. Okay, let's do it. Oh, hold on. I have an idea. Right? I have an idea. Let's watch the video together. Because I'm curious about what Wolfden has to say about this device. I'm really curious. Hold on.
Oh no! I'm covered. Help me. Help.
Okay. Let's delete this window. Okay, cool. So are we good? Are we covered? We're good? Right? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Let's watch this video together. Let me put it on HD. Let me put it on 4K for you guys. You're getting quality today. Let's go. Wait, hold on. Let's watch it together. Let's go. Dude, I must say, sleek device. Very sleek ass device. Oh, I saw Pokemon Sun there.
This is the best dual screen handheld since the 3DS. And
that is a big statement to make. However, I think it's warranted because, like, look at this.
I might like it even more than that. This is the Ein Thor. It runs on Android, and gaming and emulating on Android has gotten way, way better just this year alone.
Dude, I would want this actually.
I did not expect to be able to play Hades 2 natively on a DS Lite in 2025. No streaming. It's really on there. I did not.
So this runs PC games as well, and it's like $200? Are you kidding?
Expect multiple screens to run that great on here. Android is usually not an OS that has to handle multiple screens. But I guess with more and more foldables coming out these days, that is changing pretty rapidly. I was surprised by how most things work, but there's still some growing pains. It's not exactly plug and play.
Yeah, I expect it as such because I recognize. I think is that Desmume, the DS emulator? No, I don't. Is that Cemu? Wait, since when is Cemu on mobile hardware?
The OS is honestly extremely easy to navigate.
It is Cemu. I see Azahar. That's the Switch emulator. Eden Optimized. That's also a Switch emulator. Game Native. I think that's the Windows emulator, which just does the translation. Melon DS is DS. The thing to the left of it is also DS. Idle Slayer, I think that's just a game that, like, an Android game. I'm not sure.
Like this right out of the box. Most people are going to want to play 3DS and DS games on here. Maybe even some Wii U.
The DS one looks awkward, but it also looked awkward on the 3DS. Like, I mean the OG 3DS, by the way. The main pain point of these handhelds is just that, for some reason, right, when I pop up on DS games, they look infinitely better on a DS Lite, like compared to I'm literally comparing original hardware, by the way. Why does the DSi look worse than the DS at times? Why does it do that? I honestly do not understand. Is it my preference? Is it because of some other reasons? Because the DSi screen is, I think, larger than what the DS's screen is. So maybe it's like the PPI putting me off, but I don't think there was like DSi specific games that released as well, right? They were like enhanced for the DSi. I'm not quite sure.
Emulation, which is a bit insane to think about on a DS Lite type handheld. But for those consoles, you're gonna need some very specific emulation apps. And they do take a little bit of setup. It's
What do you mean very specific emulation apps?
not terrible, but it's not exactly plug and play.
Wait, what did you say? Hold on.
It's a bit insane on here, maybe even some Wii U emulation, which is a bit insane to think about on a DS Lite type handheld. But for those consoles, you're gonna need some very specific emulation apps.
Oh, just for like the Wii U or like more dual screen devices, right? That makes sense. Yeah.
And they do take a little bit of setup. It's not terrible, but it's not exactly plug and play. This was a pre-release model that was sent to me by Ein, and they showed me which emulators to get. They just linked me a GitHub. I'm not sure if these emulators will come built in or if it'll do that thing where Android will sometimes suggest apps for you to download on startup, but
Wait.
or if linked me a GitHub. I'm not
Okay.
sure if these emulators will come
excuse me,
built
chat.
in or if it'll do that thing where Android will
sorry.
sometimes suggest apps for you to download on startup, but Ein doesn't usually do that. Even after downloading these apps, you will need to do some configuration, but after
I mean, anyone who buys devices like these, right, should not expect like plug and play from these, because it just doesn't make sense. You're buying an Android emulation device. The act of emulating is just tinkering anyway. If you're not like willing to tinker, if you're not willing to learn, you should not buy one of these devices. It's meant for tinkerers.
that, you have one of the most powerful Android handhelds in one of the best form factors.
Is that an OG DS box? That brought back memories. My DS is the one on the left, by the way, the black DS Lite. I still love it to this day. Thank you, Dad.
Factors available. It's not just about having the versatility of emulating dual screen games on here. No, the multitasking is such an insane benefit. I've done this type of stuff on a dual screen PC handheld before, but
Dude, that's the entire reason why I wanted a foldable phone, by the way, but I'm so scared of them because of the hinge problems and being unable to protect the screen that's on the inside, the big one, the main one, right? And I still don't think foldables have reached a point where they're like foolproof to use. They still require some like they still require maintenance. They still require extensive care that normally you would not give to a phone like this, right? You just wouldn't, because all this phone requires just get a screen protector and you're done, right? That's just it. That's just it. With foldables though, I personally I would keep worrying about it.
honestly, this Android UI handles it way better. Use the bottom screen to pull up a walkthrough or just straight up watch a podcast
He's risking a lot by just showing Mario Odyssey on there, by the way. I'm just gonna say.
while you play, or play 2 games at the same time.
Oh my god, where would unemployment pick up germs from? You don't leave the house. What's to say that the germs wouldn't enter my window then? But I don't know. They all came to me. They found me. They found my stream. They found him. They found me on SCSyn, twitch.tv/SCSyn. They found my YouTube and they subscribed and they followed the Twitch channel. And that's how they found me. And so should you. Thank you. Hello, welcome, Loco.
Now we're getting crazy. So this is the
Okay, I use sponsor skip. We talked about this. Sue me.
Pro version. It has 12
Did I gain followers? Yes, I did. Thanks to my Final Fantasy FC, they've been supportive. I posted my link there, and the FC lead Kre has been supportive as well and said like keep posting. You're not like infringing on any rules. So I kept posting, and some people have discovered me, and yeah, they liked my app sessions apparently, which made me really happy.
12 gigabytes of RAM
That was a professional tier plug. Thank you so much.
and 256
Do a Mierizu reaction. I will.
gigabytes of internal
Right now, I'm watching this video because let me do a recap for you because you're special, you deserve it. There has been developments in Android emulation industry. So one of the devices I've been asking for the longest time, a Nintendo DS form factor Android emulation device that's less than $100, has been like basically announced, and this exact console has been what I've been looking for the longest time, because a secondhand DS and a 3DS costs upwards of like $200-300. No one's paying that. I'm not paying that. My girlfriend paid it, but like she basically bought it for free at this point because she paid like $120. Now it's like upwards of $300 in Turkey, or like $400 even. Like if you're paying $400, you might as well get like the Switch 2, like, or a Switch, like a cracked Switch 1 or something, anything really. But basically, this releasing will put a dent in the used market of DSs, because the entire point of buying a DSi or a DS is just to play Nintendo, like play pirated Nintendo games, right? But this, the form factor, like a hardware like this does not exist. It just does not. Nintendo did this once and no other company followed suit, because the devices like these, like single screen with controllers, or just like the existential triangle rectangle, like Blackberries or iPhones started happening, and form factors like these just basically got lost to time. I'm so happy they're coming back. I'm incredibly happy they're coming back. I do own a DS and a DSi, right? So I'm not exactly like worried about buying a secondhand DS or secondhand DSi, right? One of my very benevolent friends have given me his practically unused DSi. I basically have a brand new DSi. Thank you so much, Maurice. Thank you so much. By the way, thank you. But if you wanted the 3DS, right, which my girlfriend did at the time before she bought it, and this is an amazing thing. And while looking at these, Loco, we discovered that a device that puts a dent in the 3DS market with honestly the same exact price that you would pay for a 3DS anyway already exists and can play PC games. Like, what the fuck? Like, for $250. So if I understand correctly, we're getting an Android device shaped like a DS? Yes indeed. And these devices have like custom software on them that basically makes it so that it's like an out-of-box experience. Of course, you still have to tinker, because emulation, it's just tinkering, right? Can you play Tekken on it? Yeah, you can. Why not? Well, this will not run Tekken 8, but you will be able to play Tekken 6 on it if you really wanted to. Of course, the aspect ratio might not be the best, right? That's why you would want something like this. Like you could play Tekken 6 on this. You could play Tekken 5 on this. You can play Tekken 4, Tekken 3. Tekken is 3, and like every single game that you basically can be played on a 16:9 aspect ratio and is supported with emulation on Android, or has a lightweight enough PC port that you can run it with Windows emulation. You want to play Tekken Sin on it? We'll do 1v1 soon, bro. How about tomorrow? We'll do the exhibition match for Armor King and just learn from each other. How about that? You want to do that? Want to do that tomorrow? We can do that. So yeah, we were like watching the review of that device because I was curious like when it would be time for the 3DS to receive a dent in the second-hand market, because if devices like these exist under $100, that basically destroys the second-hand Nintendo market unless you actually genuinely want to go for actual hardware. Like if you're going for genuine hardware, you won't be, this is not for you. Like if you want genuine hardware, this is not for you, because you're a collector, you want the actual thing, and just hope that this puts enough of a dent in the pricing. That's all I'm gonna say. That sounds hella fun. Let's do that, man. Let's do that. That sounds fun. Yes. So yeah, we were just watching a video from Wolfden that goes into detail about what this hardware is and what it can do. Also, Sonic Rush, best fucking DS game ever fucking made. Everyone should play this game, but on the proper hardware, because DS emulators do not lend itself well on like any hardware, I'd say, because the big gap that's usually the physical hinge on the console doesn't look good anywhere else. I'll say that much. You're sipping coffee right now. We'll have to run to Tefco quick hours, so please wait with me. I'll react until I'm back. Okay, I'll just wait for your message. I can yap about these Android handhelds for days. So Sonic Rush is the second best DS game because Nintendogs exists. I had this argument with my sister once when we were little. She has her own like pink Nintendo DS and I had my black Nintendo DS. I would keep playing Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure, and she would keep playing Nintendogs until we got the cat version of it. And then I won the argument because she was like, yeah, okay. I had the cat version. I'm no longer defending Nintendogs anymore. But we both played Nintendogs, and that was like the most fun thing. I wonder if I like plug in the cartridge, what will I be met with? I'm curious what dog was taken care of back in my DS. I still have the cartridges. I still have everything. So I could look at it maybe on stream one day. I don't know, but I'm planning on disassembling my PS4 on stream and just cleaning it out. But I don't know the setup I would do for that, because I want to use the like every centimeter of my desk to its fullest potential while repairing stuff. Because I get annoyed when I have to work in a small workspace, right? So I will continue this video now. Let me know when you're back, or when you leave and come back, so we can look at Miarizu.
Storage, which is just enough for all my ROMs and some Steam games. But it also has a micro SD card slot.
Dude, 12 gigs of RAM. That's as much as my S24 right there. Damn.
You want more space. This one is kind of in the middle of the 4 models.
Okay. This pricing has dropped significantly. Oh wait, the Pro. Hold on. Does the Pro? Oh, okay. So the RAM differs. What's the maximum? See, that's what I meant. If you would like spend $430 on this, you just might as well get a Steam Deck if you don't care about the DS too much, right? But I want it, man. What's the difference between the light? It can't be only RAM and storage. Because if you want the RAM, I think this is the best option. Because 1 terabyte of internal storage, that does not make sense. You could just get an SD card at that point, right? Sip coffee now, we'll step out in like 10 minutes. Okay, bro, let me know. Like, it doesn't make sense to... I don't know, it's $100 difference. Does the RAM difference make that much of... I mean, it's emulation, probably does. Depends on what you want to emulate with this thing, right? But if you're paying this much for a device with this beautiful of a hardware design, right? Might as well get the most performance, get the most performant one, so you're just good for it. Because like storage space does not really contribute to performance, because this thing has an SD card slot, but RAM does. I don't think the, let's see, hold on. Yeah, you don't want the light, I think. Yeah, you want the base, Pro or Max. So the lowest this could go is that you would get $300. Yeah, the lowest this could go is $300, because I think the ST8A5 is what this thing has, and I might be wrong on that. I don't think it's as performant as Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So I would recommend that if anyone is eyeing anything like this, the base version is the way to go. Let's see.
And it costs $350 currently. That's not that cheap, but it is a dual screen handheld. It says on the site it's shipping mid-October.
They're both OLED screens as well. So that's like a big difference. Although that runs the risk of like it burning in, but it honestly depends on what materials they've used. But consider the fact that these are Chinese-made Android emulators. So in the past, these, like, the quality of these and the performance of these were like really bad. But as Android has improved, and as a Chinese industry has improved on like the phone front, right, these have gotten better. It's just I don't know if they're like any better. Are they touchscreen, or do you buy peripherals for keyboard and shit? They're touchscreen. They're almost always touchscreen. You can't really use the Android interface without it being a touchscreen.
So any minute now, I guess.
They're not meant to be PCs, by the way. They're not meant to be PCs.
I think the reason that I like this so much is because it's small and still very powerful.
Like, look at his hands. He's holding it like this, right? So I would say about the same as the phone I'm holding it in my hand, which is a pretty damn good form factor, right? They don't make handhelds as small as this anymore. See, this is a Nintendo Switch for scale. Hold on, let me hold them both in my hand. This is a Nintendo Switch for scale, and this is my phone. Like, my phone is as similar to what he's holding in his hand. Look at the form factor difference. Like, it's just the screen, and it has the buttons on it as well. Maybe he has giant hands. I mean, could be, but I don't think so. Like, this form factor is pushing it for me. Although, like, I will still buy a Steam Deck, and that is like after, like, just obliterates the line of the pushing it limit for me. But still, like, it's a PC. I can excuse that. A console being as big as this, and like its weight is okay. Its weight is manageable. But have you ever tried playing Switch in your bed and then holding it like this, and your fingers get like numb, or like you have to like rotate it in weird ways for your hands to not hurt after a while, because they will hurt. These things are not meant to be held upwards like this. They're meant to be held like just resting on something, like, like this. Cramps up real bad. Yeah. Like the ergonomics of these consoles are not good. We've lost what it means to have a handheld. It's completely disappeared from this industry. And the Chinese are picking up the slack. But these are like not actual consoles. They're like Android devices that emulate actual consoles, right? I don't think we'll get an actual handheld like ever at this point. I would very much love to, but I don't think we'll get one.
I like the Aya Neo dual screen PCs, but those are bulky by comparison. It's understandable. They gotta pack a whole bunch of
Yeah, what the fuck is this? Like that, the one on the right is a PC. That's just not good. Like it looks ugly as well. What is that?
power suckling stuff in there.
But it's a PC.
This is essentially an Android phone, so it's a lot easier to pack some decent power in here. I keep comparing it to a DS Lite, but it's really somewhat.
Yeah, DS Lite is like, I mean, I could go to my room and bring it, but I don't know where it is right now. I think that's excusable. Like, the form factor of the Ein is the Ein Thor. Looks like a 3DS. It's not that much larger than a 3DS XL, I'd say.
Between a DS Lite and a 3DS XL.
There you go. There you go. Look at this. It's not that much larger than a 3DS XL, which at that point, like 3DS XL wasn't bad as well. It fits into the hand well. I've held one because thank you Flora, thank you love. She has one. It's really cool.
So a new 3DS, I guess. I don't have one of those, so I can't tell. But it's the perfect size. It feels really good in the hands. It's a flat rectangle, but
look,
it's
hold on.
the perfect size. It feels.
You see the curve? You see the curve right here? This curve. This helps insanely much. 3DS XL was pushing it. Yeah, but it was good on the ergonomics front, and it was good on the weight front, that it did not really matter. But it was big, yes, it was pushing it. But this, like, look, they considered the ergonomics, so I imagine this is hella comfortable to hold, because they actually use like a controller, like the controller curve, so this just, like, when you grasp it like this, it feels comfy. Like, look, it's probably like this grip that this thing has. Pretty cool.
Feels really good in the hands. It's a flat rectangle, so don't expect much in the way of ergonomics, but that's fine. The inset thumbsticks also feel fine. You kind of move them with your knuckle.
I mean, they're probably this. These analogs look, chat, these, oh shit, don't do that. These analogs are not the best. Look at the analogs on there, and look at the ones on here. These analogs, when held, right, they don't have the radius that you'd want from an analog stick. They just don't. Like, hold on, let me put my finger back and you can see the radius, right? And look at this. Look at how much my finger moves. Look at how much this moves. They actually, they don't have the sensitivity or the radius you want. They look quite similar to the Nintendo Switch joysticks, but not quite. Something in the middle? Because the radius does, like, the cutout, well, it's actually similar to the PlayStation. It can't be accurate with those analog sticks. Yeah, I do think these analog sticks barely qualify as analog sticks. Like, I remember when playing Smash Bros, like when Kazuya came out on Smash Bros Ultimate, I tried playing him, right? You can do actual Tekken combos with Kazuya on Smash Bros Ultimate. I tried inputting an electric, and this is fucking impossible to do an electric on. If you don't play Smash with a hitbox, just don't fucking use Kazuya. I tried using like a wave dash, and it's just these analogs suck. It's quite sad that Switch 2 has the same analogs, which will result in drifts anyway. I don't know. This analog stick should not be the standard. It's just not good. I don't like it. Playing Crash Bandicoot on Switch sucks. Yeah, playing Sonic Racing on Switch also sucks. It's just overall a bad experience. Like, the radius is just not there.
I will say the right thumbstick is a little rough because of just.
No, I wouldn't say that. Because the stick drift endemic, or like epidemic, I guess that's the word. It's just it wasn't an industry-wide problem because they had safeguards against potentiometers potentially like potentiometers like potentially like grinding away. See, like these analog sticks are also potentiometers. Potentiometers are literally just an electric like probe like scratching along a graphite pad sending electrical signals, right? And that graphite is what you have in front, like if you hold a regular pencil, its tip is graphite, right? I think it is. It's a graphite pad, basically, right? So it just grinds along that and sends electrical signals. Back in the PS2, they used the same technology, but every time you use the analog, it recalibrated itself on the hardware side. There was actual like mechanisms in the analog, from what I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, right? They no longer do those because most products have turned into like planned obsolescence. That is like a big point in the gaming industry right now on the hardware side. Planned obsolescence is utterly fucking stupid. If they could, right? If they could, they would make your actual consoles die halfway through their life cycle, so you will buy like the Pro version, which Sony has been releasing. I would not be surprised if PS6 starts to die out when the PS6 Pro comes out, because that's where the industry is heading. That's exactly where the industry is heading. Nintendo, however, like the Nintendo Switch is quite solid. I can't really speak for its release, right? When it released, it came out with a plethora of problems, and I mean, what hardware doesn't come up with a plethora of problems when it first releases? But the hardware regarding the controller is just a shell of plastic with the HD like rumble tech inside of it, and the analog suck. Everything else sucks. It's just a shell of like flimsy plastic, right? Flimsy plastic with a rail, and they sold it to you for like $80 for one half of a controller. One half. Like they make good shit, but like they overprice it, they overvalue it, and then they just don't. The Joy-Cons are a good concept, which is executed poorly, in my opinion. It could have been way better for what it is. It's a very cool concept. One half of a controller becoming an entire like controller on its own. Incredible concept. Like I have 2 sets of controllers, right? Now I have 2 controllers from one set. Like this is an entire controller on its own, because like games that don't require a second analog can be played with this, and most games don't. The co-op games on Switch, that is. Like you can play Smash Bros with this. You can play Mario Kart with this. You can play like motion requiring games with this. They're innovative products. It's just their like build quality absolutely fucking sucks. Like look at the old controllers. Look at your old controllers. Just pick them up. Just pick them up and feel them. They will feel robust. Like I held my PS3 controller the other day, right? Its D-pad is above anything else I've felt over the 27 years of my life. Its D-pad is amazing. I played Tekken 6 all day long with that controller. It felt amazing. Now hold this. This D-pad feels stupid. I'm just gonna say. It's mushy, its feedback sucks. It's really not ideal for playing really anything, in my opinion. Like maybe like platformers, I'd say, but anything that requires like precise input with D-pad, you just don't want to prefer this. And actually, you don't want to prefer any of the like the vendors' like controllers, really. Just look for third-party controllers if you care about good D-pads, because none of the like the big 3 like Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony, they don't do good D-pads anymore. PS3 D-pad is goated, but have you felt the OG PS1 controller in a while? The D-pad analog stick on the old gray PS1 controller, they were really good. Sad story with that. My PS1 was gone when I was a kid, because we had it, and then we bought the PS2, and then my PS1 just sort of disappeared. I don't know where it went, so I haven't felt a PS1 controller in a long time. No, it's one of my goals. If the streaming endeavor pans out, after like I get myself like in order, basically get my life in order with the funds, if I earn any, that is, I want to build a room that's just like generations of consoles, you know? I'll buy the consoles I missed, and I'll put the consoles I have in their own cabinets and make an entire room that basically feels like a chronological, like basically a chronology of consoles, like just from chronological order, left to right. Every single console right next to each other, and you can play all of them. And I'll mod them, and I'll put their entire libraries in a drive, so you can play every single game on that console. This is my dream. I want to do this so bad. I sold mine when I was 10 because I had a PS2. Oh man. Because and I want to have a game showroom like that as well. Dude, that would be really cool. Maybe if I come to Brazil, we can make it together. Alright, got us good to test real quick. Okay, 20 minutes. Bye-bye. Be careful. And then, yeah, that's basically my dream. I want to do that with the handhelds, with the room consoles. Like, I will do that once I get something rolling. Either in content creation, I really want it to be content creation. This is my dream for the longest time. Like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier. These guys are my inspirations. And lately, I found a relatively new YouTuber, which wasn't big until recently, I believe. David Achu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Brother, your video has been very inspirational, and seeing your growth has inspired me to begin my content creation journey. So I will definitely link you. If I turn this into a short, I will turn this into a short. Thank you, David Achu, for inspiring me. And then, yeah, that's basically what I want to do with my life, if possible. If you guys deem my content good enough for me to keep this as my job, I want to do this. So let's go back to the main subject. Let's watch the review.
Where it is.
I ended that really abruptly, by the way. Thank you so much again, though, for like your viewership and your support. I really appreciate it.
The D-pad is fine. It's not in a great spot, but there's not much they could do with that. The face buttons feel exact.
This is exactly what I mean, by the way. The D-pad has been like, the D-pad is largely a control method that's been like ignored for the most part.
Like a DS Lite's face buttons, so a little mushier than a 3DS, but that's not bad. I've heard a lot of hate for these.
I mean, what can you expect on a handheld? But I'll say the Nintendo DS D-pad was so good.
Shoulder buttons. The bumpers are really thin and hard to press when the screen is all the way open, but the triggers are fine.
Who opens their DS all the way open? Who does that? The screen looks far, like if you look, you open it like this. Yeah, hold on. If you open your DS like this, hold on, dude, chat. I want to get my DS. I need to show this properly. Give me a second, okay? Give me like 5 minutes for me to find it. Hold on. Give me 5 minutes to find it, okay? I'll be right back with you. Give me 5 minutes to find it. Hold on. I'll be back. Hold on. I'm gonna find my DS. Okay. So, chat, now look at this. If you open your Nintendo DS, right, like this, you hold it like this, okay? If you do this, you're good in my book. But if you do this, you're a fucking psycho. Who would play their DS like fully open like this? Okay, maybe the DSi looks better. Like, oh, it's actually aligned. I don't know, but if you play it like this, doesn't the screen like is it an oblique angle to you? I think this is psycho behavior. This is bad. I never met anyone that opened their DS all the way like that. But let's go back to, this is the DSi that my friend gave me. Thank you so much. This is my OG. Shit, I pressed spacebar. Hope that didn't do anything. Okay. This is my OG, okay? I love this thing. I cherish this thing. This is my heart. This right here. This is my heart. Okay? So, you open it like this, you're good. You open it like this, see how it's off a little bit? See how it's off? Not fully aligned. And the oblique angle feels infinitely worse. If you play it like this, if you play your Nintendo DS like this, you're a psycho. This is psychopathic behavior. Who would open their DS all the way? That does not make sense to me. Like, this is what I remembered at least, because like I think look, hold on. I want to show you guys the difference. I want to show you guys the difference on why I noticed it, right? Why I noticed it. Okay, let's hold them side to side. See how the DSi is more upright than compared to the DS Lite? This is why I remember that, like, if you open it all the way, it's at an oblique angle and it's just fucking weird. There's a reason the notches lock in this way. There's a reason. Because it's comfortable to look at. You're supposed to be looking at the upper screen. That's like basically what it should be anyway. Right? I don't know, man. If you open the screen all the way, you're a psycho. That's all I'm saying. Psychopathic behavior. Let's continue the video.
I don't hate it. These buttons are a decent trade-off for how thin this device is overall. The screens are also really cool. They're both OLED. The top one is 1080p and 120 hertz, which is like way overkill for an Android handheld. The bottom screen is 1240 by 1080, which is also way overkill of a resolution, but it's only 60 hertz. There's some sort of issue with...
I mean, just don't want 120 on a touchpad, man. Like, what would it change?
Android having 120 hertz and dual screens. So having them both on at the same time and one of them being 120 hertz, there's something finicky happening there. And Ein has some sort of weird workaround, and I am not going to explain it. There's two use cases that I can think of for 120 hertz in a device.
Man, now I'm curious. What's the workaround? Like, what did they do? Is it an OS level thing? I'm going to research that in a bit.
Like this. One of them is black frame insertion, and the other one is like streaming with Moonlight. And those are cool that you can do them here, but I don't think that's the strength of this thing. The strength here is using two screens. There's an Ein overlay that can take over the bottom screen just by pressing this big ass Ein button.
That's really cool.
Very useful controls and some nice stats like an FPS counter. I mostly only use this to change the brightness of the bottom screen. There is a weird little bug with the bottom screen of this device. Whenever you turn this thing on or wake it up from sleep, the bottom screen will just be at full brightness no matter what. And in order to fix it, you have to open up that little Ein menu and just tap on the brightness bar wherever it is. Doesn't matter.
I don't think the bottom screen is tied to the main OS or like the main screen in a way that like the software recognizes it, right? In order to make their refresh rates and the like basically their traits different, I think their controllers are different on the software side at least, or even on the hardware side. I'm not sure. I don't know if Android can run two separate displays with two separate like refresh rates, but apparently it can.
No matter what value it is, just tap on it once, and then that fixes it for the rest of your play session. This could be fixed in an update. It's really not the biggest deal. Unless maybe you're in a dark room and you're trying to hide the fact that you're turning on a game console. Then it'll blow up your spot. I'm also not too fond of this new trend where they put glass wall to wall on the whole face of a device. My greasy hands leave fingerprints all over these things. But
shit, yeah, that's bad because look, I'll show you something. I don't know if it'll be visible on the screen of this. I don't know. Look at the bottom screen if you can. Is it visible? Is it? Oh no. I can't really see, but hold on. And let me make it larger for you, chat. Oh, you can see it, kind of. Nvidia, don't blur it, please. You see? You see how it catches like fingerprints like nobody's business? The plastic doesn't, but the screen does. It's actually really annoying. Hold on. Let me clean this. Actual screen protectors here. Let's see. These are important. Gotta keep them clean, you know? Cleaner? Better? But imagine having to do that for the entire console all the damn time you're holding it. Sleek design, but no, I would get annoyed as well. I get him. I would definitely get annoyed as well.
That's also not the end of the world. So when you first boot this thing up, wait, let me roll this back a second. There's no charger in the box. They provide a great USB-C cable,
I mean, oh yeah, it's
no
USB-C
charger.
charging. Eh.
That's annoying. But when you first
What's-
boot this thing up,
Wait, what's the charging rate then? Like, because not every USB-C like charging, or not every plug, let's say, charges at the rate that you'd want for fast charging. It would say fast charging, but let's say the cap of fast charging at the phone is like 45 watts. Yeah, if it charges at like 25 watts, it would still say it's charging fast. Like some phones do that, and it's like really stupid because you're not getting the full potential of the charging capacity of these phones.
they ask you to pick a launcher to use. I actually like the Ein launcher because of its big icons. So I picked the Ein launcher. Then it put the Ein launcher on the top and the regular Android launcher on the bottom screen. At first, I thought this was weird, but I quickly began to
Oh, that's
really
decent.
like it.
That's
Tap
decent,
an
yeah.
icon on the top screen and boom, it's on the top screen. Tap an icon on the bottom screen, boom, it's on the bottom screen.
Both screens being touch. Why didn't I think of that? I thought the top screen wasn't touch. Okay, that's really good.
Doing this makes it very easy to have apps swap.
Wait, I think the entire screen is glass because it cuts down on the profile. So like they make the touchpad section. No, I think the screen is still a little bit recessed. It might not be. I'm not sure.
Between screens,
That like the entire bottom panel might be just a bezel, just a big ass bezel.
which is a direct contrast to the dual screen PC handhelds that I've tried, which are usually super unintuitive in this way. This is also the first Android handheld
I remember this. This sucked.
where I completely turned off the Android controls on the bottom of the screen and the ones on the side menu. I just navigate this with the hardware back and home buttons, or I just tap the screen if I want to swap screens or something.
That's cool.
Navigating dual screens is a lot more intuitive than I thought on this thing. Also, if you're playing 2 games on this thing for whatever reason, you just tap on the screen of whatever game you want to control with the controls. So if, for example, you're playing Idol Slayer on the top screen and Pokemon on the bottom screen, you can just tap on the game you want to control at any given time. If you want to play Pokemon, you tap on the bottom screen and then just move around.
That's really innovative, by the way they handle the input like that. I usually see that on like PC games. Like in PC in general, I have never seen this on any other hardware.
Kind of like clicking on a window on a desktop PC.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
don't like the idea
Pretty cool.
of the Ein launcher or the OG Android launcher, you can just get another launcher. There are a couple of great dual screen launchers that are coming out. Isu just dropped the sickest trailer I've ever seen in my life last week.
Ooh.
It looks like a sick launcher. I tried putting the alpha build on here, and it didn't work at all. I'm sure
Aw.
once this device is out and in people's hands, they'll fix that. There's also console launcher by Like Itch. That one's really cool.
Yeah,
It's
this is
got
cool.
some Nintendo style background music, but that's also in alpha.
That's like the
and
Switch
it
UI.
can't launch any of my ROMs because it doesn't
Aw.
support any of the apps that I have. So
That
again,
sucks.
I'm sure it'll be updated once this thing is.
Dude, these things are so annoying to set up. They're actually so annoying to set up. Because I remember trying to get there was a UI, forgetting its name, but there was like a console-like UI on the Android, right? When I had an Android controller that I don't really have because I sold it, but I tried to get that UI to basically turn this phone into like a PSP replacement, because my PSP is basically on retirement. Like, it's not broken, thankfully. Like it had an impact to the screen many years ago, but I had it fixed, right? But I just like the charging this thing is takes really long because it only takes like 5 volts, right? And the battery, I'm really skeptical about the battery, I'll say. But I really like this console. I really love my PSP. But honestly, if I could, you know, keep it safe somewhere while already like also enjoying my games, I would much rather trying to get an Android device to work with it. Didn't quite work out.
Out and in the developer's hands. I'm personally fine with the original launchers. I like having all of the icons big and right here, and I know which one of these corresponds to which game. So if I want to play Nintendo Switch games, I click on this guy, that's Eden, and I click on it again because I did it wrong. And all my games right there.
The Eden UI is so
Go
cool.
back and let's try Melon
Wait, can Eden, like, is mobile Switch emulation that good right now? I mean, I don't have the hardware for it because the phone I have is Exynos, and Exynos fucking sucks for emulating. Especially after the One UI 7 update, by the way. They really just gutted every single thing about emulation. It doesn't really work anymore.
DS for DS games. And God, I gotta click it a million times. There they are. So I know how to get into each one of my libraries. I have Azahar for 3DS, Melon DS for
Oh, Azahar is a three. Oh, yes. Because I think Citra used to be it, and after Yuzu's closure, Citra became Azahar, and Yuzu became. There's a lot of alternatives to Yuzu. I'm not even gonna get into that, but use Eden if you're like curious about which one to use. Use Eden.
DS, Eden for Nintendo Switch, and Simu for Wii U. And you need very specific builds of all of these different emulators to work with dual screen. Sapphire Rodonite has a list pinned over there on their GitHub. These emulators are not too hard to set up, but they
Wait, so if you don't get the specific build of it, does the second screen stop working at all? Like it's just black, or does these like do these forks have like special functionality for the second screen?
do take some
Like how does it work?
setup.
Dude, that looks really
Azahar
cool.
wasn't too bad. Make sure you're launching all these dual screen apps from the top screen. That was my first mistake. The initial setup's simple enough. Just add your ROMs folder, then set the secondary display to bottom screen only. Also, set your controls. I left the device set to the Xbox layout, which gets confusing, but that's usually the best way to interact with these emulators. Games on Azahar just sort of work. It only works with decrypted ROMs. Sometimes to decrypt ROMs, all you have to do is just rename the file, change .3ds to .cci. The
Really?
performance of Azahar is very good. I did get some stuttering in Kirby, but that game is a pretty heavy 3DS game. I tweaked some settings, but the most help I received was just switching the rendering mode from OpenGL to Vulkan. Also, I added a graphics firmware, but I'll talk about that when I talk.
But like, is that a fault of the software or is that a fault of the hardware? Because the reason that you would buy something like this is to play 3DS anyway, and if it does give you like subpar performance on some of them, is it really worth it? Isn't 3DS like emulation pretty mature by now? Or was it like really like at its like middling or infancy stages back when it was taken down by Citra? I don't really think it was.
Talk about Eden, the Switch emulator. So let's talk about Eden, the Switch emulator. This is actually the first time that I've used Eden. I've been using the same old build of Yuzu for like over a year now. Eden
Because that was the only good one.
runs really, really good. This is the best Switch emulation I've ever experienced. It's probably not just the device that I'm using. It's probably just that Switch emulation has gotten so advanced since the closure of Yuzu. The setup of Eden
Has it? I might have to give it a shot.
is a lot like Yuzu because it's a spin-off of Yuzu.
Because I think it just got it just has can't even speak. It has gotten advanced on Snapdragon hardware. I don't think it is advanced on Exynos hardware or like MediaTek hardware. MediaTek might be an outlier because apparently it has gotten better, but Exynos, Samsung just does not seem to like their own creation for no reason. Like they don't support it as much as like Snapdragon does. I don't know, man. I don't know if I made a mistake by buying a S24 Plus or like, I mean, guess we'll see, right? If I start to earn money with streaming, right, I might consider selling this phone and getting a more gaming focused phone, or maybe this urge will go away once I get a Steam Deck. We'll see.
Put your prod keys and your firmware in and whatever. The one really cool feature of Eden is when you go over to the settings and try to switch the GPU firmware. There's an option.
Oh yeah, I mean this is by the way, this is exclusive to Snapdragon like CPUs in phones, because no other manufacturer lets you do this. But there is a driver called Turnip drivers. I don't know what Mr. Purple T22, I think that's Turnip, right? The Turnip drivers make these things run so much better in terms of emulation. They're just incredible differences for like just with the change of a driver. I don't know how they did it, but like this is this has accelerated emulation on Android by exponential amounts, I'd say.
To download one, which makes things way easier. No need to troll through GitHubs. Just pick the best one from here.
That's
I
cool.
used this Mr. Purple firmware, and it immediately fixed Super Mario Odyssey for me. Before, it was just
There
a
you go.
gray blob. Now, it runs pretty much flawlessly.
So that means that if I install Eden on my phone, it's not going to run anything because I can't do this driver trick. Fuck you, Samsung.
I then used this firmware for everything that would allow it. I just pulled it straight out of the Eden folder, and that kind of fixed 3DS emulation for me and made Kirby run slightly better. So 3DS and Switch emulation is pretty awesome on this thing. Don't expect every game to work, especially with Switch emulation. There's still a lot of work to do there. But for 3DS, a lot of your library is going to work just fine. You might get some stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That alleviates all the issues that people might have. Because again, 3DS form factor, you're going to play 3DS games.
Stuttering on some of the heavier games, but I'd say, you know what? I don't want a percentage of your library that will work, but most of your, pretty much every game that you want to try is going to work just fine, barring like a little bit of stutter. It'll be playable. I'm really not selling this. Every 3DS game you're going to throw out, this is going to be just fine for the most part. If you don't want your Pokemon...
Consider the fact that this will also get updated. By this, I mean the app, right? It's not going to be left for dead. It's going to get better with time. So when you buy this product, if you buy this product, right, you're going to install the 3DS emulator. Maybe it'll stutter like a little bit. But then, like, let's say, like some months later or a year later, maybe those stutters will be gone because that's development. Like, these things are being actively developed. So
Pokemon Sun to skip a frame every once in a while, get a 3DS. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, at that point, yeah.
DS emulation with Melon DS is also great, but this was probably the most annoying to configure.
Really?
I spent a really, really long time in the settings trying to move the screens around. The settings are very unintuitive. For the top screen, I did a custom layout where the top screen is the same width as the bottom screen, but in order...
And see, like, that's like the main issue with DS games, right? Because look, actual hardware, they account for the gap. Because the gap is predetermined. It's not going to differ from hardware to hardware, right? The game knows how to split itself. Because... excuse me. I did say I'm sick. I'm sorry. So, the hardware is pre-accounted for with the games. Because this hardware ain't gonna change. It's just not going to. It's fixed. Like, it's fixed on every single DS iteration as well. Look. Look, just look. Just take a look. These gaps are the same. The games are pre-accounted for with these. So, when you get an emulator like this, right? The gap won't be accounted for. So you have to like mess with it. The quality of your games utterly depends on you getting the gap right, by the way. Because I'm a person which cares about details and maybe a bit too much, right? So when playing Sonic Rush, right? Sonic Rush is a dual screen game released for Nintendo DS, obviously. Because, well, dual screen, right? So that game has its levels vertical. So when Sonic runs and goes down a loop-de-loop, he goes down the entire double screen length and then does like a thing and then goes back up and just he's constantly switching screens on this, right? He's constantly switching screens. So if the gap isn't right, the transition feels jarring. That's the issue, right? So it's very, like, I don't know which other game switches screens that frequently, because in my childhood, I've only played Sonic games. I have Nintendo consoles, yes, but if you ask me which Mario games have you played, no, I have not played any Mario game, like any. I'm serious. Maybe the oldest one because of the like the entire like the Flash games being passed around, but I have played no Mario game. I don't like Mario. I've only played Sonic. And my only example is because Sonic, but like that transitioning between the screens, it must feel fluid, right? For the hardware and for the game to be worth it. If you don't calibrate this properly, you won't enjoy it. That's like a guarantee. Who is emulator and what? Why not now? Wait, who is oh no. Emulator, yes. Our best friend, the emulators. Very nice look. But yeah, basically, this thing that he had trouble with, this thing, is basically like the crucial thing for DS gaming. The gap needs to be exact.
To do that, you have
Also,
to
welcome
move
back, Loco.
these sliders and just kind of do the best you can. You can forget integer scaling because you can't type in the pixel count. For the bottom screen, set the external display to bottom screen. But then it's stretched
That doesn't look right. I was just about to say that. The bottom screen does not look right.
horizontally and not good. You have to now go to the quick menu, a different menu. In the quick menu, you got to check this one little box for keep DS aspect ratio. This
But that doesn't that make the gap larger, therefore makes the game just look snapped in half? It is snapped in half. It's just like there's a certain balance to it. There's a certain pixel width that is accounted for with that game, with every DS game,
fixed
right?
everything for me. You could, of course, use a different
If he shows gameplay, I will recognize it.
layout. You can have the top screen be massive if you want. You can just leave the bottom screen.
No, it doesn't look jank. I think he did it. Hold on.
You can have the top screen be massive.
It's mostly apparent with these because they don't look like a perfect circle if the width isn't calibrated right. This looks fine. Now this looks okay. Yeah. Okay. This works.
If you want, you can just leave the bottom screen stretched if you want. But I found it looked best to have the top screen.
There's still a black gap though. The fuck is this? This is just reacting to handheld devices and just talking about them because I want to talk about handheld devices today and I have one right here. Apparently, look, Mr. J, the guy. Let me tell you, my guy. Let me tell you. Hold on. Let me lay it on you real quick. So this device just got announced, right? This device, I think, it got announced yesterday. I missed the news. When I saw this thing get announced, right? I got curious on what other devices were there because I want this to make a dent in the secondhand handheld market, right? So this will make a dent in the DS handheld market, but apparently a device like this exists to challenge the 3DS handheld market. So we found this review by Wolfden for the Ein Thor, and we were just, watching this to learn about the device and how it performs and how it looks, basically. Because I think this is a pretty interesting device. Like, I think just the secondhand markets of old consoles are getting too egregious, like pricing, to the point where it doesn't even make sense to buy these anymore. Because why would you pay $150 or $200 to play? How old is a DS now? Like, how old? Like 10 plus years old games. Sure, like these are fun things to play, right? But at that price point, just go and fucking buy a recent console. Go buy a Nintendo Switch. Go buy a PlayStation, If you really want to play these retro games, play them on your phone, right? It won't be the exact experience, but at least it will spare you from like paying for a retro console that an overpriced retro console. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all.
As close to the bottom screen as possible, and to have the bottom screen a regular, not stretched aspect ratio. I think this looks great. And the wall-to-wall glass and the OLED screen make it sort of look like this is how the screen is supposed to be. I typically don't mind playing dual screen games on a single screen device. I usually just have both screens right next to each other on that 16:9 screen. But having an actual dual screen handheld allows you to play certain games like Rhythm Heaven much easier.
Exactly. Like this is the exact reason why devices like these are so good, because this form factor hasn't existed ever. Only Nintendo did it. I'm so happy that other companies are just copying this, because Nintendo doesn't have the monopoly on dual screens. Nintendo just doesn't, right? This should be more like common, because retro hardware will die. Like, no electronic is immortal. Also, Mr. J, the guy, if you like the content, if you want to check out the other shorts and the videos, my channel is like right here, and if you want to subscribe, I'll be very happy if you did. Thank you.
Turn the device to the side and hold it like a book, and now you're good. I heard some chatter on Reddit complaining about the input lag on the bottom screen. that might have been a dud unit for that guy. I played Rhythm Heaven specifically to test this input lag, and it worked totally fine. The issue
It might have been an emulation issue, but if there's input lag, this just makes this entire device redundant.
is just that this touchscreen is capacitive. So you have to use your finger, and it's not a stylus.
Wait, I mean, you can get styluses for like that works with capacitive touchscreens, no?
It feels a little weird playing DS games with your finger, sliding your greasy finger on this slick glass surface. It's just not the best feeling. But it's, again, not the end of the world. The last emulator that I want to talk about is Cemu, the Wii U emulator. This is an alpha build. Cemu is relatively new to Android, so compatibility isn't perfect. Getting the second screen to work was pretty simple. You have to start a game and then select show pad and external pad screen. And even this won't work all the time. You might have to restart the app a few times.
It's pretty wild that like Wii U emulation is on handhelds now. That's wild.
Unfortunately,
Basically a 3DS at that point, which like what the Wii U was basically a big ass 3DS, no? It was.
Star Fox Zero, the game I like playing with dual screen devices like
I see the FPS drops. It's 50 there.
that game crashes a bunch.
Nah.
Smash Brothers worked pretty great, except the bottom screen was just blank. Star Fox Guard seems to work just fine, but playing this game made me realize that the gamepad on the Wii U is 16:9. This bottom screen here is a really weird, almost square aspect ratio. It's 27:31.
What kind of aspect ratio is that? No wonder the DS screen looked horrible. Wait, what's that for? They could have just made it a 4:3 and just enlarged it. No, was the PPI an issue? I don't think it was. That's a problem for me.
So a full 16:9 screen looks really tiny and weird. I also played Mario Maker, which played great. Luckily, games that mirror the screen allow you to touch either screen. So Mario Maker is kind of sick on here. There really aren't that many Wii U games that utilize the gamepad in any meaningful way. But it's still amazing that you...
Wasn't the pad for like transferring the screen over to the pad so you could just play the game on your pad while the TV is occupied? Very rarely that the pad was used for gameplay mechanics. I think it was just like showing the map on your pad or something like that. I think Breath of the Wild, the last game that Wii U ever released, I think, had that.
You can play Wii U games at all on something the size of a DS. If you showed me this in 2013 playing a Wii U game, I probably would have shit and pissed myself.
Yeah.
Playing a Wii U game on something the size of a DS Lite is absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's also
I'm sure
amazing.
that Cemu will only get better over time on Android. I wouldn't suggest getting this just for Wii U emulation. I would say just consider it a happy bonus.
I mean, if you want to play Wii U anyway, there's your PC. Like, PC emulation just exists. Because Wii U and more recently the PS3 on handheld devices are still in their infancy stages, I'd say. They are playable games, but don't really depend on them. The only portable variants of Cemu and RPCS3s, which is respectively Wii U and the PS3, are basically on PC handhelds, which makes sense because they're on PC and they're made for PC anyway, right? And Steam Deck, the cheapest option available, runs them pretty well nowadays.
This thing, the Ein Thor, is probably about as powerful as the Ein Odin 2s, but that's okay because those are extremely powerful handhelds. It sits somewhere between the Odin 2 Pro and the Max and Mini and the Portal, which makes sense because this is the Pro version of the Thor. This is all according to the 3D Mark benchmark test that I did, which just kept increasing in performance the more and more that I did it, so I had to do it a million times. I also tried running the benchmark on the bottom screen.
What is this, a car engine? Gets better as it gets hotter? Do they have like a PTM in here where the more you use it, the better it conducts like thermals or something?
And the performance didn't seem to change like at all. Because this is such a powerful device, you might be surprised to see how great Steam games run on here. I did a whole video a couple weeks back talking about Game Hub and Game Native, which are two ways to get a bunch of your Steam library to run on Android handhelds. And it's pretty awesome. I suggest watching that video if you're interested in that. Although
They're basically like WinLayer, by the way, if you know what that is, which is basically a Windows translation layer for Android. I think it was open source, and then some of these apps came out, which came out like they're pretty controversial because they just flat out stole code.
There have been a
Like, it's been said allegedly that they stole code anyway.
lot of updates to that, even in just this past couple of weeks. Compatibility is so much better. Cloud saves are so much better now. I did a lot of that on my Ein Odin 2 Mini, and this device is very similar to that. So I put Game Native on here. I downloaded Hades 2. This is actually the first thing that I played on here. The only setting that I changed in Game Native was the screen size. I upped it to 720p. I also upped the video memory size to 4 gigabytes because we have a lot more room to play with on this thing. That's all that I changed, just those two settings. And Hades 2 just ran without a hitch. I guess that game is really well optimized for low-powered devices, but this is still very impressive.
The frame rate stays 60 most of the time. It dips down to like 50, maybe 45, but pretty rarely, and it's very manageable. I'm sure you can tweak some settings to make that happen even less. I also noticed the frame dips sometimes when you enter a new area, but this
I mean, you'd expect that. It's still a handheld Android device that's emulating Windows on top of it, right? It's a miracle that the overhead isn't crushing this device entirely.
doesn't hinder the gameplay experience at all. I would play like this and feel totally at home. I think this is where I'm going to play this from now on.
And he ditched the Steam Deck so fast because like the form factor of the Steam Deck is so large. I wish I could show it to you guys right now, but I don't own one. I will show it to you. But like playing on something like the PSP like this is just it will be infinitely better than whatever the fuck the handheld like manufacturers are putting out today. Like just look at this. Hold on. Chat. Let's look at this. Do you really think that the Switch is better to hold than a PSP? Like, they're both the same thing, essentially, right? There's a screen with a controller attached to it. Of course, the power is there, but like, this is I don't know. Why couldn't it be smaller? Why wasn't the Switch Lite the standard of the Switch hardware? This is too large. The power doesn't really differ with the Switch Lite either. I mean, there's a mod for it to output HDMI on the Switch Lite. It's just a marketing shtick that they took it out. Switch Lite can display to a like an external display. It can do that. Yes, if it can do that. Yeah. Look, the difference. Like look at my fingers. Look at my fingers. Look at how I hold them. And I can't really show this. Like I can't really demonstrate it properly without a weight, like without a scale. But this is just infinitely like more lighter than whatever the fuck the Switch is. And the Steam Deck is even worse with this, by the way. But the Steam Deck is kind of excused because it's a PC in your hand. When has that ever happened before? It's a literal PC in your hand that you can play PC games on, that you can play Cyberpunk on, in your hands, right? So like this form factor, I think it's just utterly horrible. And the Switch 2 didn't really remedy this as well. In fact, it got larger. And it's just a console with a lockdown, like a walled garden design with like I haven't really checked out its like battery life or like its support from like third-party studios basically, but the Switch 2 just utterly does not make sense at this point. Just by unless you're a 100% bona fide Nintendo fanboy, slave, whatever you want to call yourself at this point, right? You do not buy a Switch 2. Just do not buy a Switch 2, please. Value yourself a little bit. Do not buy a Switch 2.
Silk's song on here runs like a dream. I just don't like using the D-pad. I think this is a thumbstick game here.
This is sick. Playing Steam games from your Steam library, downloaded straight from Steam, with your cloud save and everything. Playing it on this thing. It makes Android devices way more viable. I probably wouldn't love this thing as much as I do without the compatibility of Steam games. If this thing didn't have Game Native, I would probably still really like it for emulation. But I mean, like, having brand new, just released Steam games from your library on a DS Lite. What world are we living in?
Yeah.
It's so cool to be able to take this thing around with you on a device where the screen closes.
The fun thing is, right? PC handhelds will eventually make their way to this form factor, and that's when it will be insane. That's when it will be absolutely stupid. because the ARM architecture, Apple has shown that the ARM architecture is actually viable to run x86 applications on, viable to, like, they have an amazing translation layer, and the software built upon the new MacBooks are just like they're engineering miracles, because ARM is just something that's just not present in the PC industry right now. And when PC fully adopts ARM and like low power devices become more mainstream as time goes on, right? When like, because hardware wise, PCs and manufacturers and companies will eventually want to move away from x86 for low power workloads, right? They just eventually will, because it will just make sense. The ARM architecture just expends a lot less power than what the current architectures of CPUs do. It's just how it will be. And when the day comes that a PC can fit in the palm of your hand and has the power of a Steam Deck with the form factor and weight as like this, that's when it'll get crazy. That's when we'll do it.
Incredible how much of my game library works on here. Dual screens means virtually my entire ROM library plays great on here. The addition of GameHub and Game Native means I can play modern Steam games on my little tiny DS guy. I love this. And it makes this device a great companion to bigger PC handhelds like a Steam Deck.
But see the size difference though? See the size difference? If all you do is play emulated games and play like indie games that don't require much 3D horsepower, this device is literally amazing. Although I would still recommend that people get a Steam Deck, just because that it's the best piece of hardware like released on in the past like 5 to 6 years. How old is the Steam Deck again? I think it came out during COVID, right? Maybe a bit before COVID, I'm not sure.
Depending on the game,
No, it came out during COVID.
this can be your pocketable Steam Deck. Of course, compatibility isn't perfect for Steam games, but the fact I can play Hades 2 and Silksong, the two brand new Steam games that I'm actively playing right now, and they play very well, that's kind of huge. I gotta give
If you can play Silksong with that analog, I think that basically is a testament to how like good that analog is. Like, it's not like the stupid ass shit Nintendo Switch analogs.
you a warning about this device if you're ever thinking of getting it. When you first get it, it defaults to the normal performance mode. And for whatever reason, the fan doesn't kick on in that mode, at least to me at all. So I don't know if it's because I had it plugged in while I was using it, or if it's because
Oh, this thing has a fan. I mean, it makes sense, because it can't be passively cooled like a phone, because it will throttle immediately.
the bottom fan was blocked by my desk, or if it's because of both of those things. But the device got so incredibly hot, especially where the bottom touchscreen is. Again, this is the exact same thing that happened to me on the Ioneo Flip 1DS, except there's actually a fix here. Just run the fans and leave it in high performance mode all the time, and it will automatically run the fans for you. The fans aren't
that's
that
fine.
loud, and it ran way, way cooler after this. It's not even warm to the touch. It's very cool. I also haven't
Yeah, you can't
noticed
even
much
hear
of an
it, yeah.
effect to battery life all that much. I mean, I have it running right now. It's been on for 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm down to 97%. But it hasn't been doing anything. It's just been on the home screen.
The Switch doesn't do that. The Switch just sips battery for no reason. Like Switch 1, the very first one, the one I have. That's the only one I can vouch for.
I'm not doing rigorous battery tests. I only really ever play games for like an hour at a time. But I did stream the other day, and that was some rigorous gaming. I had it plugged into the computer's weak USB-C port for about 40 minutes, and it actually lost battery plugged into there, dropping down to 91%. I then continued to play some more rigorous emulated games for another hour, and it only dropped down to 66%. So I think with high intensity games, you can expect somewhere between 2 to 3 hours. Steam games might net you a little less, but I think this is pretty
That's
impressive
expected.
for how powerful and how tiny this thing is. You can see for yourself. That whole stream is up on this YouTube channel if you go to the live tab.
Look, okay. I think we got what we wanted from this video anyway. So this, dude, if I could buy it, I would buy this. But if I like, would I use it? Probably not. If I'm being honest, chat, probably not. Because, like, I have this, bro. I have this with if you'll recognize it, I'll show you. Hold on. It has to boot up first. I should tell you though, it's taking a while to boot up. You know what it is probably. If you don't, you're about to find out. You're about to find out. Let's put this on the brightest. And I touched it with my thumb again, so that sucks. But I don't know if you can see it. NVIDIA fucking blurs the shit out of it, of course. Anyways, I basically have the entire library of my DS in here, which is just basically every single one of them. It shows nothing, does it? Hold on, chat. Can you see it now? Oh my god, it's bright. Oh, you can. Come on. Let me find the angle. I have to wait. Does this? Oh my god. The angle does not work. No. It's like that. It's like that anime when the smart guy in anime comes along and touches his glasses. It's like, yo, I am the smart guy. But yeah, I mean, this is basically what I need anyway, and I don't even play this, so it's basically a piece of my collection at this point. I want to play it though, because I haven't finished Pokemon Black 2. I don't know if it's the same game. Like I played Black, right? And then I tried playing Black 2, and that game, when it started off like the first one, and I got confused because again, I wasn't really familiar with Pokemon games at the time, right? I didn't know they just repeated themselves with different games. Like I have wait, hold on. I keep taking this out of its pouch. Hold on. I have this, right? I'll be able to show this, right? Yeah, I have this Pokemon Pearl, and I had Platinum. When I saw that they were the same game, I felt mega scammed because I did not understand that Pokemon released the same game like 2 to 3 times, and it was just like, look, this one has a different legendary. I mean, I see the reasoning behind it. They want you to talk to different players and then trade between them, right? Cool concept. Scammed me though. But yes, I promised that we'd react to Miarizu, the new Tekken character. So let's see. Miarizu gameplay trailer. Are we here? Loco, are we here? It's time. Loco, it's time. Ding ding ding, it's time, ding 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 ding, it's time. Come on. I don't have my bell. I don't have a bell. Just pretend I have a bell. Ding 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 ding, it's time. It's time, guys. It's time for Miarizu. Come on. Dude, let me see. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Loco, if you're here, I'm beginning the trailer now. In 3, 2, 1.
Miaris, born with crimson eyes. Miaris.
That's how you pronounce it? It's 2 different words. It's Miaris. Okay.
Born with crimson eyes, as foretold by her renowned fortune teller grandmother, developed a deep fascination with wildlife, mimicking their movements, including during their clashes with foes for survival. She naturally became interested in martial arts and quickly advanced at an astonishing pace. Before long, news of her spread, and skilled martial artists from all over sought to test their skills against her.
Get ready for the next battle! Section 8! New Challenger!
Jak si co mieć? Aka mam lecieć, senso?
Battle friends forever. That's okay. Wait. Oh boy, she actually takes like moves from animals. Are we gonna see high crushes? Okay. That's the 10 frame punish with a knockdown. Armor, frame trap, cool. High crush again. Ooh. Counter hit launch, okay. I think that's her plus move, which most players will be opening with, I'm guessing. What was that? Wait, does that mean she can't be wall splatted by like the throws like Steve does? Or does that mean something else? Wait, hold on. Does she like negate the tailspin or something? Oh no, wait, that's a throw break. Counter hit. Oh no, it's from her own either from neutral or of her own volition that she does the wall thing. That was an armor break. So, okay, you get her to wall and she has a stance. What the fuck is that? She's holding a staff? High crush, low crush. I see. Is that an install or is that our moveset? I'm curious. They made her cute and they made her badass, sort of. That's... Oh! Oui. Oh. There we go. People have theorized about this because of her, like, the gauntlets on her, like, wrists and ankles. That she's the ogre descendant, and there you go. The theorists were right. Although I'm seeing a lot of different moves. Is this an install? Is this like a Heat exclusive? It doesn't look like it. Too many moves for Heat. That was like a cat. That was cool. Anime beam struggle. Okay. You lost connect. No, I called for you so many times. Dude, what the fuck? Wait, let's get a replay on that. This is the gooning character. Dude, if the Heat activation does that in game, it will be the funniest shit ever. Just distraction by gooning. Dude, that is... She does her wall thing from her staff. Yeah, her Heat seems to be like Alyssa, I'd say. Just spawns the snakes and such. More of that Heat activation in my life. Is another domain expansion? It is another domain. Wait, no, we're in the sky. It is another domain expansion. I mean, cool character, but like that felt like 3 separate character displays. That honestly feel like her first display looked like a martial arts character that's inspired by animals. Her second display looked like a wrestler that's grappling onto walls and such. Her third display looked like a mystic arts type of character. Whoa. Is this an install? Is this Heat? Like the third one was definitely Heat with the snake arms just lasering and stuff, but like I'm utterly confused. I gotta say, I don't vibe with how fast her attacks look though. Her attacks look Street Fighter fast. I found them more similar to Jun's pace, if I'm being honest. Like it's her like the speed of her attack. Oh, muscle memory. I literally just snapped onto the Heat activation. Okay, look. Her attacks honestly don't feel that different from like Jun's or any other stance character's transitions, right? Like, look at this. Her movement looks fast. Her attacks don't look fast. If that makes sense. I found that so... Dude, the goon detector is off the charts at the moment. But yeah, like, I think it's a issue of her attacks looking fast, but the actual like hits that you take on aren't that fast. Yeah, that's what you mean? Oh, okay. I mean, the animations look fast, yes, but look. Her first showcase, right? Let's look at this. It's the animal attacks, which already look like a full moveset on its own. Look at this. I see none of the mysticism that's shown in the second and third sections, and this honestly just feels like Devil Jin's moveset in the first one, because just it's one and done, and then the mysticism comes in, which turns her into like Jun or like Stance Rushdown. I don't want to say Anna, because Anna is just like utterly weird. I don't even know what archetype to put her in, but this feels like Jun to me after the mysticism is introduced. Like, this is just a normal pickup combo, I feel. Yeah, like, just one and done. That's not optimal, of course. Maybe she's gonna be like Lei with 11 stances. Given how this showcase felt, with how, like, it felt like 3 separate characters, I wouldn't put it past Bamco, honestly. It feels really similar, yeah. Now that you mention it. Like, this wall thing... I honestly would have expected for it to be a trait of Armor King or like King or like I don't know, because like wrestlers, you know, just they just sprint and then just go to the side of there and do this and then come back and then just like slingshot themselves to the enemy, right? That would have been cool, you know, from the wall. Like maybe Armor King has it, but I don't think he does. But like doing stuff with the wall. There's some 2D fighter designers in the team. Because wall mechanics weren't really a thing with Tekken, if I remember correctly, right? But wall is a major thing with 2D fighters. Major thing. A wall is a part of your kit even. And this is the first character that does this with Tekken. Aside from wall jumps being a thing, I haven't ever seen a wall being an integral part of the character. Maybe this is just like a gimmick though. We can't be sure. The character's not out. Yeah, like look at this. Threatening off of a throw break. Like this might as well be a setup against someone who breaks throws consistently, right? If you are someone who breaks throws consistently, you will break this throw and she puts you into maybe a 50-50 situation, because this, we don't know what comes out of this, but I'm guessing 100% there's a low or like a mid-threatening move out of a wall, because we've seen her break armor. I think it's this example. No, like she can even fake out. Where was it? I think it's this example. Like look. Goes wall. Is this high? It looks high. Okay, I don't think this is mid. I'm happy this is not mid, but this breaks armor and it's just this unbreakable heat smash type move. Yeah, I mean, a scary Miyazu. I've already forgotten how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry. A scary Miyazu character will be. I mean, a player is just going to be really strong to fight against. That looks like a stance when she landed. Yeah. Look, I don't know how to do a frame by frame with YouTube, but I'll just slow it down. I'll just slow it down to like 0.75. Oh, hold on. Let's slow it down even further. Now look. She gets throw broken, lands to the wall, goes in, the high crush stance that was shown at the beginning of the trailer, and then does the low crush move from stance. I don't think that's launch. I hope that's not launch. There's probably a pickup. I hope that's not. I hope she doesn't have a pickup from that. We've had an. I'd rather her be weak than overly powerful stance character again. Because if they don't really fix or shake around the character roster in season 3, the Tekken 8 cannot take any more overbearing characters, in my opinion. Apparently... Oh, really? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Wait, what? Ooh! I did not know that. Oh yeah, season 3 is gonna be season 2, but more of the same. I predicted. I mean, I would not. You know what? I think you're right. Because I don't think they'll like fix it. And look, like she steps on the wall. Get like. Just gets off or the no. This is an immediate transition into the stance. It's not even like a normal lift off. See, there's no neutral in between. Yeah, look. She has the same stance after challenging Panda in the beginning. Hold on. Look. She has the Panda jump right after that. This is the stance she goes into. This is the stance. Wall jump. No, it's not a wall jump stance. This is the stance. This is her like initial like stance beginning basically. And her mid option is basically just, you know, the Panda jump. I think this is a mid option. Because I've seen her use it in a combo in a bit. Hold on. We'll see it. Hold on. This is the 10 frame punish. That's not what we're looking for. Look, I think it's here. Look. No. It's one where she gets a launch. There it is. Look. Where is it, man? There we go. See? That's a part of a combo. Same stance, same entrance. Look, from... I think this is right leg, which was... What was... That's 4. I'm guessing it's forward 4 or something 4. Okay? Something 4 enters the stance. And then the stance transition into the Panda jump. You make the connection on why the hitbox is over here and her knees are only hitting. I don't know. Maybe it's like phantom boob power or something like that. I'm not sure. Atagus, of course you'd like it. It's from Panda. But like, that's it. Her stance has a high armor breaking move, I think, if done from wall. So that stance has 2 prerequisites, I think. Or like maybe the wall jump only has that armor breaking move. I'm not sure. But they're trying to make wall a mechanic in Tekken. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, look at this. Wall jump, high, armor breaking. I think it's a high. It looks like a high. Does it not? No, I think this is a high, chat. Look. I don't think this is a mid. It looks like that, like Kazuya's one kick that just keeps on going up but hits highs anyway. I think this is a high. Yeah, there's a neutral exit. I think that's just tapping like towards the enemy to get out of the stance. I think you enter stance whatever you do if you dismount the wall like from to neutral. Because I do not think this is an input from 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is just like a D-pad input to enter stance. That's what I'm guessing anyway. Because they would not make a wall stance that only has 1 outcome from it. I think they're hiding the other 2 outcomes. I predict 3 outcomes from wall. And I predict you do not want to push Miyarezu into a wall. Or you want to push Miyarezu into a wall just so you can take advantage of them trying to get the wall stances in. I think you do go into stance. This is going into stance. It's just I think you cannot dismount the wall without going into stance. I don't think you can dismount into neutral. That's what I think. There has to be some commitments to this stuff, okay? If they make another non-committal safe stance character, I'm gonna shit all the pants in the world. It's really poetic that they put the low crush demonstration against Xiaoyu. Look. Wait, is that a low from the stance? That is a low from stance, which I hope the mid isn't guaranteed. Would we count this as a hell sweep? Wait, the staff stance might be kind of dangerous. Wait, goes into stance. And I don't think this is a punish because she's back to neutral. She eats this low. She eats this low and then the mid right after. I think this is a hell sweep. Yeah. The staff stance might be scary then. Just enter staff and then... It honestly depends what other options she gets from the staff, right? It honestly just depends. Wait, what did she get from that? I think that's a mid. Wait, don't tell me. No. I think that's a counter hit. That's a counter hit property, right? It has to be. Depends on how you go into staff stance. I think you can just go into staff from neutral because she just did it right here. See? It's like Bahamut, like Clive. You can go into staff from neutral. You gotta have a read on the low. The low crush doesn't matter, I think. It's like Bahamut. Like, you just immediately go into stance. And, yeah, you can go into from neutral, and then, like, the crush doesn't matter, right? If Miyaruzu gets in your face and immediately goes into stance, which, like, you have to consider in high-level play, you'll be vulnerable, yes, but not everyone presses into you immediately, right? If you condition someone to not press into you all the time, you can just go in their face and enter the stance. Because the strong part about this stance is, unlike Bahamut, where if you go into Bahamut as Clive, the only really advantage you have is your auto low parry if your opponent goes for a low, or the little like beam that you shoot out that can be easily stepped, or like basically is inconsequential, which results in like a Phoenix Sash if you get hit by it. But like a normal player will not get hit by Bahamut. The Bahamut is like a useless stance for Clive players, I'd say. But this stance, right? Depending on how fast you can take out moves from it if you go, like when you go into it, might be really stupid. Because it has a hell sweep, and from what I can gather here, when like, oh shit, I went back too far. I should get used to using these frames, hold on. Look. When Lydia is trying to do a low and she gets a mid counter hit, and then that's like a whole launcher, you see? I hope the mid is not a natural hit launcher. I hope it's a counter hit launcher. So this is like a more of a way to threaten people pressing into her. That would make sense, but honestly, I hope she can get floated out of staff. I hope it's not foolproof. Look, oh shit. I already see the flowchart. I already see it. I think you see it too. Look. I think that's like a forward 4-3, something like that. Goes in, forward 4-3, plus frames, immediately goes into staff. And now you're challenging. Will I do a hell sweep? Or will I do a mid that counter hit launches you? What's the high option? High option is a jab. High option is a jab that wall splats if... Oh shit. I hope that follow-up's not guaranteed. Because that didn't even look like a counter hit. Was it a counter hit? No, the king's not moving. Is it moving? Loco, do you think this is a counter hit? I don't think this is a counter hit. Look. Look, she like forward 4-3, I'm guessing. Goes in, staff. King does nothing, jab. And then kicks, and then wall splat to launch. Big damage. It might be a counter hit. I don't think the jab immediately guarantees the follow-up. I hope it doesn't. But given how Tekken 8 has operated, I'm not sure, bro. There's another plus flame entrance. Dude, you can enter from neutral, you can enter from forward 4-3. The long lines means counter hit, good. Then counter hit jab. Look, there's a okay. It's a very threatening stance then. There's a hell sweep. There's a mid counter hit launcher that doesn't require a wall. There's a high counter hit wall splat. And you can enter them with plus frames. Because look, she uses the first plus move we saw. The double, I think this is just forward 1+2. I'm guessing like something 1+2 because she uses both of her hands to enter a plus frame thingy, right? And then immediately enter stance while still having advantage. And then oh, that's a tracking mid option as well, which is a heat engager. Fuck. This character will be annoying to learn against. And they did this to show off the heat smash, but I think that launches, no? No, that doesn't. It's a heat engage. What am I saying? Yeah. So we have a homing mid. I wouldn't. Is that a mid? No, it's a heat engager. It's not a mid. It's a heat engager. Yeah, mid homing heat engager, low hell sweep, high counter hit wall splat guaranteed follow up, and mid counter hit launcher without a wall. All of them can be entered with plus frames, by the way. She is the mechanic heat personified right now. This guy's Bushin thinks he can analyze. Bro, Agaryu is speaking. Shut up. We're not even touching on the ogre aspects, by the way. And knowing season 2, the mid homing heat engage is going to be +5 on block, steals your wife. Fucking, I don't know. It honestly depends on how punishable these moves are, but the fact that she can enter the stance, like the staff stance with plus frames, just doesn't bode well to me. I think the ogre powers are installed, by the way. I don't think she has these in neutral. I think it's like Brian. It probably is like Brian. $2-kilometer wall splat, by the way. Again, we're not stopping with those, I guess. That sidestep move in thing, being in heat, that's good because that's straight up a rip from Lily, feels like. The sidestep, like the drill that comes with it. You know which move I mean. I don't know the names because I don't play. Replay that heat thing, please. Oh, you mean this? There you go. Now look. Isn't this just Lily's move? Isn't that just Lily? And that's just... Wait, that's a very... A launcher, staff launcher only available in heat. I'm guessing that's like... What's Zafina's low? Minus how much? We can know from this, because this, if this launcher hits, right? Yeah, how minus is this? How minus is this? Because that will give us info on the heat launcher. I'm guessing 14, right? So I guess she gets access to a 14 frame launcher on heat. Does she? Or like is that low very launch punishable? I'm not sure. I don't play Zafina. That's a heat engage follow-up. I think that's guaranteed. What is this move? Does she get an entirely different staff moveset when she's in heat? Like what the fuck? I hate the fact that they just glossed over this, by the way, to show the heat, to show the rage art. What the fuck is this? It's a launcher from heat. That what the fuck does it do? I don't know. I think it's safe to say her entire staff moveset changes in heat. The jiggle physics. God. Guys, where are you looking at? Don't. We're looking at the gameplay. I didn't watch these parts.
Fady manondro tanala ohatr'izany. Ohatr'izao ny piso.
I want to play this. Okay, so December 1st, early access. There's a month in between Armor King. That's good. That's good. I feel like it's been so long for Armor King. I didn't even deem Fahkumram a DLC release, I'll be honest. I feel like Fahkumram stayed his welcome for too long. Oh, costumes. Costume 3 looks the best in my opinion. Oh, the new map is nice. The new map is nice. This season is for the Gooners. I mean, yeah, gooning to Fahkumram and Armor King is what Gooners do, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Look at that. I keep forgetting Falk is the same. He was such a nothing burger character. It's only in because I don't want to antagonize the developers and I don't want to get blocked by, you know who. I don't want to get blocked by him. The costume 3 of Mary Sue at this point. I can't pronounce her name. Miari, I guess. Like, hold on, shit. This is nice as well, but like this is just way better. And if we can change her hair, she can be Hatsune Miku quite easily. Costume 4 Bazongas. I mean, she has Bazongas in general, brother. She has Bazongas in general. Oh yeah, you guys are talking to each other over the stream because you can't see each other. That's cool. That's about it. Well, that's about it. So guys, thank you for coming to the stream. I'll be ending it right now, cause but not ending it in terms of like killing myself. I'm already ill. I don't want to kill myself. Okay, I'll be ending the stream right now. So please look forward to tomorrow when I get better, I guess, cause tomorrow we'll be having analysis and learning matches with Loco for Armor King. So please look forward to that, Loco. We're doing that, right? Still. And yeah, hype for Armor King tomorrow. And Miarizu looks pretty cool. And other than that, I hope you liked the outro music. And it's just... And hold on, let me prepare my brain for the outro. I'm gonna do this for the first time. This is Sin, signing off, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Mashinami-san